So a lot of people on my Twitch stream, which we are streaming live on Twitch right now, you can see the chat down here in the bottom corner. A lot of people have been asking me about these right back here, these panels that you see, these LED hexagon shaped panels, and I'm going to tell you about these in this video, but they're not what you think. They're not just LED aesthetic, wall panels. These things are fully fledged acoustic absorption panels that have LED lights on them that can be adjusted via a remote control. So we're going to talk about these panels today. I'll show you how they work and some of the cool features. You haven't seen anything like this. These may be some of the most technologically advanced acoustic panels, and they're super easy to set up, and you don't have to put a bunch of holes in your wall. You may be asking how. Let's talk about it in this video, and I'll show you exactly what these are all about. Guys, before we get started, I do want to say a massive thank you to the sponsor of this video, and that is PlaceIt.net. PlaceIt has thousands of mockups and templates for stream overlays, Twitch panels, logos, merch, YouTube end screens, animations, and so much more. Once you find the template you're looking for, you can customize colors, text, and other elements to make the perfect design creation. After that, download it and it's completely yours to use however you want with full commercial license. Instead of spending hundreds of dollars on design work, you can purchase a monthly or yearly subscription to PlaceIt and get unlimited downloads. Just use my 15% off discount link in the description below. As always, huge thank you to PlaceIt for sponsoring these videos, and if you want to check out PlaceIt, don't forget to hit that link in the description, as well as to save that 15% off. But with that being said, let's go get one of these panels or a couple of these panels off the wall, and I'll show you what they're all about and why they are some of the coolest things that I think you can add to your stream setup, your stream room, your content creation space, whatever. So let me go grab one really quick. Okay, so you may notice that these two right here are having a little bit of an issue, and we were going to talk about this later in the video. This is going to go into the cons list of these panels. Now, they normally don't have this kind of problem very often, but it is something we'll talk about later in the video when I tell you about the pros and the cons of why these are awesome, but then some of the things that they could do better. Let me go fix that again. 1 second. Okay, now we're back. Now, you may notice that they're a different color, and the reason why is because whenever a panel disconnects from one of the other panels, when you plug them back in or when they get power again, then the color changes. So you basically just have to take your remote and switch it back to the color that you want, and now it's fine. But we're going to talk about all of that here in just a minute, because there are some really cool things about these panels, and then there's some things like you just saw that can be a little bit annoying. But I want to go ahead and show you the panels first, okay? These are fully fledged acoustic panels. And as you can see from the side right here, you can see that foam that's on the top, and we're going to talk about those silver discs, these things right here and right here in a minute. But there's a fully fledged acoustic foam pad on the front. Now you may be saying that looks a little thin. It's a very specific type of acoustic foam that actually absorbs quite a bit of your mids and your highs to allow you to have less reverberation in your room. So instead of putting up just foam panels or the normal hexagon sheets that you stick to the wall and stuff like that, this gives you a little bit more acoustic control, because you'll notice that foam is on the top of the panel, and then you have all of this body of this panel on the back here, which creates a little bit of an air gap, and so it actually creates a more effective panel, as well as you have the LED lights, so they're aesthetically cool as well. With that being said, there's two uses for this, right? Not only to absorb sound, but to be an aesthetic part of your stream room. So if you design these in a way that matches your stream room with the color that matches your stream colors, it gives you a little bit of a kind of a cool perspective, something cool for people to look at that is not really well known yet. These are actually brand new. We're going to talk about the company and what all they're doing with this. There's some innovations they've made, though, that make these some of the easiest acoustic panels to install without tearing up your wall. And that's going to be one of the coolest aspects of this, I think, overall. We'll talk about that here in a minute as well. But another thing I want to mention, under the pros for these acoustic panels, they're low profile, right? It's about this big and about that thick, so it's not too crazy. If I'm holding it up next to my head, I mean, roughly the same size, maybe a little bit bigger than my head. But they're low profile. They're not crazy obtrusive. And because they don't tear up your wall based on one of their coolest features, I'll show you again here in a minute, you will not have to worry about whether, you want to move them around. You don't like the way that you put them originally, whatever. You can do that anytime you want. So let's talk about the install and how they're powered. Now I'm going to show you through a top-down shot right here, these panels. And there's the little controller right there. This is actually by a company called AudiGlow. And AudiGlow, I'll show you the come back over here with me really quick. I'll show you the controller. This is the controller, and there's the company right there. AudiGlow is the ones who make these panels. And so they have sent these over for us to review. They're fantastic. And when I'm showing you these and how they work, it's going to kind of blow your mind. So let's put this controller over here for a minute. The way that these actually work is very unique. You'll notice on this panel that you can see at the very top here, these two little silver discs that are sticking out at the top of this panel, right? There's two silver discs, and then the rest of these are kind of inset. They're inset into the plastic frame, okay? The reason why is because every panel has one set that's protruding and then the rest that are inset, so that you can connect them together via magnetism. And you just kind of get them lined up, and then they snap together. And look at that. These panels are held together by magnets, right? And if they're on the wall like this, okay, which I'll show you over here, they're on the wall like this. This panel is holding this other panel up. Like it's not falling off of there. They're pretty strong magnets. In fact, they're so strong that you can connect up to 3 of these off of the one that's actually anchored to the wall, and they don't need to be connected to the wall at all. They just need to be magnetized to the one that is anchored. In fact, what's really, really cool about this is you guys will notice all of these panels behind me. The only panel on this wall that is actually screwed into the wall is this one right here at the bottom. You can see the little cord coming out of the bottom of the panel there. That's the only one. It's held in by 2 anchored screws, okay? And then every other panel up here, every single one on here is all held together via these magnets. And they're, like I said, they're very strong. So you can have one anchored in, the rest of them. And what's cool about that is if you want to reorganize them, you take one off, you put it on a different side, you get it locked in there, and now you've got a different shape that you're making, right? So let's take a look at these. Let me show you. You got the magnetized connection point there. They come apart pretty easily. And then whenever you magnetize them, there's nothing to plug in from one panel to the next, right? You just snap them together via the magnets, and they're powered through magnetism. Now the anchored panel is plugged into the wall. And so we have a plug right here. It's a micro USB to a wall outlet. So we're going to plug this one in. This is the one with the port. Not every single one of these has a port. So most of them are just additional units, and then one of them actually has an actual like micro USB port on it. So you plug that one in, okay? Let me show you that. We're going to plug this in. Okay, there we go. So you can see that one's lit up now. And in fact, let me turn this light down so you can see that a little bit better. All right, so that one's lit up. And now, in order to power this one, we're going to just plug this one in to the one that's powered. Watch what happens. Boom. Now, both panels are powered up. And if I turn this light off, you'll see them even better. But there they are. So they're cycling through all the different colors. Now, with the remote that you have right here, you can actually switch. You can turn it on and off. So if I press this red button right here, I can turn off the panels. There they go. If I press the green button on the other side right there, it turns on the panels. And every time you turn them on, they're going to go to this what we call kind of like a party mode. It's where they're cycling through every color of the RGB. And so what you can do is you can press one of these colors on the remote here. Okay, so one of those colors, let's say we want blue, press blue, and now it changes everything to the blue color. Okay, if I want to do the RGB cycle again, they've got this little it's almost like a continuous circle, this one right here. So you're going to press this, and now it's going to take you to all the different colors. Okay, so it's just cycling through all the different colors. If I want to strobe through the colors, I can press this strobe button right here, and now it's going to slowly shift through every color. They've also got one called Flash right here. You press that, and it's going to take you to one where it's just changing colors without the fade. It's just going from one color to the next color to the next color. So you've got those, and then you've got all of your actual color options here. So red, green, blue, orange, yellow, and purple. And then there's also this W right here is for white. And so they've got a nice kind of just regular white if you want to go with more of a minimal, clean aesthetic. So anyway, just to go through all the colors, I'll show you. We got red, we've got green, we've got blue, orange, yellow, and purple. And I'll tell you right now, the camera that I'm using for my top-down shot, it's not showing you the way these colors look in reality, because like, look at this right here. If we go back to here, it's actually a lot more purple than it looks on that camera. So it's a little hard. It's better in the background here. You can see it in the background, because when I change these in the back, or when I change these that I'm holding, it actually changes the one in the back as well, the panels in the back. So if I go to red, it's going to change all of them to red, green, blue, which it looks in the background, it looks a lot brighter than it did on the desktop there, partially because it's actually brighter than you realize. There's the yellow and then the purple right there. So anyway, we're gonna go back to red, but that is kind of the overview of how these work. Now, the cool thing about it is not only can you connect them via magnets, and you only connect one of these to the wall, and you'll notice right here that you've got these holes for screws, right? You've got two of them. It comes with enough screws in the package for you to be able to place these on the wall and screw in every single panel. You won't need to use all of those though, because like I said, you put one in, you anchor one, and I've got all 18. There's actually 3 packages of these on my wall back there. 18 of them can all connect off of one that's screwed into the wall, and they can all be powered off of that one. Now, if you go beyond 18, you are going to have to have another plug. You're going to have another one of these anchored in, because once you go past 3, so like 1, 2, and a third, once you put a 4th one on the end, if it is connected off of one without any support down here, then it will fall. Like eventually, once you get 4 of these connected to each other, like if I just put another 2 on this, it would pull this one apart like that, because the magnets are strong enough to hold 3 but not 4. So that's something I noticed. But if you go out 3 wide, or you do what I've done back here, where I've got this one anchored, and you'll notice that you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, and I actually had one of these right here. That's a 4th one, but the reason why that works is because it was actually a 3rd one connected to this one right here. So you'll notice I've got 1, 2, 3 total, and then the 4th one connected, and it was also pressing against this one that was connected. So it had a little bit of a support system to hold it up, and it could stay in place. So you can get 4 wide if there's something underneath it holding it in place that's connected earlier in the chain. These are crazy good panels. I love these things. I wanted to show you guys those. The magnetic connectors, one of my favorite parts. The remote control, I think, is fantastic. Now, one thing I will mention, the remote does have timers available, so you can actually put like a timer on off. You can set it for 2 hours, 4 hours, or 6 hours, or it's just on the entire time until you turn it off right here. So that's a really cool feature of this remote. And then the panels look unique. So when you add them to your stream room or your game room or whatever, you're gonna have a unique, not only functional panel for acoustics, but a good looking one as well. The other thing that I wanted to mention when we're talking about price, and this is one of the pros of this, you come over here, you'll notice that this is the NanoLeaf. This is the NanoLeaf. This is what people normally have thought about putting in their room. Now, these are not acoustic panels. These are just light panels, right? They connect like that. And a NanoLeaf set of 7 costs $199. So $200 to get a set of 7 NanoLeafs to add an aesthetic appeal to your stream room. And they do not actually control any of the audio or the reverberation in your room. But the cool part about it is the AudiGlow panels are $149 for a pack of 6. So you get one less, but they are bigger and they are acoustic panels. So this is what a package would look like. You would be able to get something like this set up in your room. And so that's 6 of them. You'll notice only one of them is actually connected to the wall right there. And then the rest of them are all powered off of that one. You can set them up in this configuration. You know, they've got a bunch of different ways that people, can put these. You can really just set them up however you want. But they're $149. So for $50 less than a NanoLeaf set, you get acoustic panels and light panels at the same time. So with that being said, it's a fantastic deal. That's one of the pros of these panels. And ultimately, there's not a lot of cons when it comes to these. I've got to tell you guys, I've been using these for a while, but there are a few things you need to know about them if you're thinking about getting these AudiGlow panels, okay? The first one is there's no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. So with these panels and the way that they're set up, they don't actually connect to your phone. They don't connect through Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or anything. They don't connect to your computer. They are all run by this remote control. So you have to have this remote in order to operate these. Otherwise, they're always going to look like this. They're always going to look like this. And if you lose the remote and you don't have it, you can still turn these things on by unplugging them and replugging them back in. But they're just going to have this color, cycling thing going on, and that's going to be the way they are. There's no other way to change the colors on these except for with this remote. So you can't lose this remote. The remote is battery powered, and so you're going to have to change the batteries out every once in a while. But I mean, I've never had to change them, and I've had these for a little while. Probably last you for 6 months, 9 months, a year, something like that. So there's that. Also, I will tell you that because there's no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, you cannot set these up on a timer. The only timer you have is the timer available on the remote itself, which means that you can set them for 6 hours and they'll turn themselves off, but you cannot set them to turn themselves on. So one of the things I have is, like, you'll notice that these LED lights I have back here on my shelf, like right back there, those are on a timer. So when I walk in here to stream, they're already on because I have them set to turn on before I come in here, and I have them set to turn off in the evening after I'm going to be done on the computer. With this, you basically just have to keep it on your desk, turn it on and off whenever you want to use it. So that's one of the cons. Not a huge thing, but just something to note. There is no memory of last used settings, which means that if I unplug these right here, let's say that I want to actually, hold on, let's do this. We'll change them to red. Okay, so I normally have them on red. Now, if I unplug these from the power, okay, and I plug them back in, they are not going to remember my last setting. So every time I plug these in, I'm going to have to go into my controller, my remote, and change them back to red. It's not a huge deal. It takes one extra click of a button, but it is just something to note because they're not going to be remembering your last settings or whatever. So you're always going to have to reset them by pressing whatever color you want or whatever mode you want, unless you're using party mode. Whenever you turn them on, they default to party. So if you use party mode all the time, you're set. You're good to go. The third con that I've noticed with these is that because they're attached to each other with magnets, okay? Because they're attached with magnets, these magnets can somehow or sometimes, see that right there? See how okay, right there. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on this. It's still connected, but I'm putting a little bit of pressure on this panel. See how it's kind of slow? It's like it's not getting enough power. It's not until it gets a full connection and a direct connection that it actually comes on. So what was happening a minute ago at the beginning of this video on these two panels back here is because they're the way they're positioned, and I probably just need to reorganize the panels so that they all fit better together, but because the way they're positioned and the weight that's on them from the other panels and stuff like that, those two panels, this one and this one, tend to have a problem with losing connection every once in a while. There's something about the way that the magnets on those panels back there, right here, the magnets they're not like connecting to the other panel as well. And so they're doing the same thing that I just showed you with this one, where they're kind of either a weak connection. Let me see if I can reproduce it. It's harder to do when it's only two panels, but it's either a weak connection like this, or it will, like, something will happen, like I'll mess with it and it'll be like, they'll be like flashing just barely, like they'll be like going in and out. So if that happens, then that panel resets. You'll notice how this one is different than this one. And so now I'm going to have to go and I'm going to have to reset both of them to be the same. And you got to usually do it twice because sometimes they'll mess up. So that is something, it's a little buggy. It does happen. But I will say it's not a huge deal. You go back there, you fix them once. Usually they're fine unless you bump the wall or you go over there and you mess with them, you pull some off like I did. And then when you've changed the weight distribution, that's when you have those connection issues that happen every once in a while. So that's something to note as well. And then the only other thing there's two other things that I would mention. The fourth one is that the power supply is a USB. It's a micro USB. It's not USB Type C. It's a small thing. It works fine. You don't need USB-C necessarily for these, but I would like to have it because USB-C is becoming the standard. So I would love for this to be USB-C instead of micro USB. Just a little little opinion about that, and I think most people would probably agree. The other thing is that the yellow and purple colors, when I change it to purple, for instance, and I can't really hear it right now. I can't hear it with my headphones on. I can't hear it on my microphone. But when I have the big group of them back there put together, whenever I change it to yellow or to purple, there's this super faint, very tiny, almost like a high-pitched hum or a high-pitched, whenever an electronic device is plugged in, sometimes if you listen really carefully, you can almost hear like a really high-pitched squeal that's very faint because the electricity is going through it or whatever. For some reason, the purple and the yellow color will do that, but it's not loud enough for your microphone to pick up. It's probably, it's such a high pitch that most people might not even be able to hear it. It might be in a register that most people don't even hear. I've got really sensitive hearing, so for some reason I'm able to hear that on yellow and on purple. And I don't know if it's all of them, but the set that I have, which was 3 packages, the set that I have has that happen whenever I change it to those 2 colors. Or if I put it on like a cycle mode where it's going through all of the colors, whenever these come around to purple or to yellow, that little hum comes in and then it goes away. And so anyway, that's one of those things just to note about these. All right, one of the other cons that I wanted to mention about these panels is that because they're not Wi-Fi or Bluetooth enabled and you have to control them with this remote, there is no way to change each individual panel or each individual light strip, okay? So like you'll notice whenever I put it into the cycle mode, each individual light strip can light up a different color by itself, right? But there's no way for me to set what I want each individual light strip to do. I can either put it in multicolor mode like this, where it just keeps changing and you notice all these back here are doing the same thing, or I can put it in one solid color, but I cannot change all of these lights to be different colors, or I can't have one panel be red and one panel be blue. And that is one of the other things that I found that I did not like. I would love to have some type of Wi-Fi or Bluetooth control in a future iteration of these, because I would love to, back here, for instance, maybe do like an outline of blue with an inside of red, or do, every other one is red or blue, or, green and purple or something. I think that would be really, really cool. You'll notice I've got 2 different sets. They're both plugged in, but when I change one to green, there's no way to get only one set to change to green because this remote controls all of them. So in the future, whenever they come out with like the next version of these, I would love to see Wi-Fi capability, an app perhaps, and they may be doing that already. But this first iteration, it doesn't have that. So you're going to be one solid color, or you're going to be one of the 3 effects that they offer, and that's about the extent of your customization. But that's all the cons that I could find. Other than that, the pros, in my opinion, far outweigh the cons. I love the magnetic connection. I think it's one of the most brilliant things ever. And the fact that I can just take these panels and connect them like this, and they work, that blows my mind. The fact that I only have to screw one of these panels into the wall blows my mind. The fact that I can reorganize these panels anytime I want without having to move, screws around. They're magnetic. It doesn't matter what position they're in. In fact, if I had another couple sets of these, I would put some behind my stream setup here as well, so that my voice going out this way would just be hitting acoustic panels on the wall, and then I have some behind me and we would be completely covered. So $150 for 6 of these. You can connect up to 3 packages, so technically you're looking at about $450 if you wanted to get 18 of these like I have. But that still would be a lot cheaper than buying 3 packages of NanoLeafs, which would cost you $600, right? So you're saving $150 if you get like a full entire, 3-pack. Now, the good news about these, I want to share this with you guys. The good news about these, ultimately, they are linked in the description of this video. So you can click on that link, you'll go over, you'll be able to buy these. It's an affiliate link, so it also supports the stream, doesn't cost you anything extra. In fact, I have a code. If you type in code EagleGarrett when you go through checkout, then not only will you be supporting the stream, you'll save 5% on these. So if you click that link, you'll be able to go over there, support the stream, and get 5% off when you put in code EagleGarrett at checkout. Check them out. People have been asking me about them like crazy. I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time with them to fully review them and tell you guys about them. With that being said, if you ever do buy a package of these and you only get like 6, for instance, or 12, I don't think you're going to have that issue as much, because there's not going to be as much weight sitting on top of the panels like there is here. I've got like 2 more sets of panels resting on these, and so it causes a little bit of a weight distribution issue, and you just kind of have to figure that out and reorganize it. But with that being said, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you like these panels, leave a comment down in the comment section. letting me know that you like them or what your thoughts are. If you thought, it should have something else added to it or whatever. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on these and whether you think you're going to pick some up for yourself. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section or swing by my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/EagleGarrett. We're recording this entire video live. You've seen the chat over here. So swing on by because we do stuff like this from time to time on Twitch, and I would love to get your feedback live there as well. In addition to that, you can find us on Discord at discord.gg/flock. We would love to have you in there also. And last but not least, on all the social media accounts. I'm on Twitter the most, so you can find me on there, but you can hit me up on any of those. And the last thing I want to say is if you like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for me and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that kind of good stuff. It helps out this channel, and I would love to see you guys in the future here on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, rock on, peace out, God bless. And last but not least, got him. Oh my gosh. Somebody clip that little run for me. Somebody clip that little run. That was beautiful. We got 3 kills in a row. Just bing, bing, bing.